So many of you keep repeating patterns. You are repeating patterns of your parents. Now sit back and ask yourself, the way my mom lived her life, the way my dad lived his life, am I living that same life? Now, the life they are living or the life I'm living, you already know the end from the beginning. If you're following patterns, you need to know where it ends. You already know how it ends. If your father was struggling financially, your mother was struggling financially, and you are following their pattern, it means look at yourself in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, you are going to be struggling financially. Now, you should understand one thing, that when you start having kids, you teach them how to behave. If your kids see that you are a serious person, you are a book person, you read, you study hard, you grind, you don't give up easily, you work hard, your kids are going to follow that same pattern. So if you're following your parents' pattern, look back and ask yourself, what have they achieved that I'm proud of? And am I also ready to follow the same pattern and stop where they stop? Because I know the goal of every same person is to outdo their family, to outdo their parents. So if you're scared of consistency, you're scared of showing up, you're scared of going all out, check your family pattern. Now, when you've sat down and study your family pattern, the next thing you're supposed to ask yourself is, do I continue in this pattern or do I break it? Now, if your parents are rich, maybe they've achieved, they've done well for themselves, you can also continue that pattern. But if they've not achieved anything, you need to break that pattern. Why? You don't want to bring kids into this world and bring them into poverty and let them continue from your lazy attitude, your lazy mentality, your negativity, your lack of faith, your lack of confidence. You don't want your kids to do that. So when you realize that you are actually following a pattern, you need to break that pattern. Now, how do you break that pattern? You need to take discipline. You need to understand discipline. You need to understand that whatever choice you choose today, whether you decide to go broke or whether you decide to have abundance, it is going to be a hard choice. You're going to go through hard routes, hard decisions, hard processes, okay? So if you choose brokenness, it's going to be hard. You're not going to have money. You're going to be stuck. You're going to be confused. You're probably going to be working for somebody and you cannot live good life. And if you choose to actually break that pattern to make wealth for yourself, it's actually not going to be easy. You have to be coming up with all your positivity, all your faith in yourself, all the confidence, all the belief that it's actually possible for you. And this thing is not easy. You need to go all out. You need to dare to do. You need to be audacious. You need to dream big. See, choose your heart wisely. The reason is this: at the end of the day, you're going to look back to either regret or be thankful you did. See, there are so many of you that need to break patterns. You need to break that circle. So many of you don't have millionaires in your family, don't have wealthy person in your family, nobody has traveled abroad, nobody has done certain things, and you are also following that route. When it comes to update, when you get opportunity to change your life, you just talk down on yourself, you just abandon it, you just let fear take over you, and you feel like, no, it's not possible, I cannot do this. See, break that pattern. So many of you need to break that pattern. If you don't have millionaires in your family, you don't have wealthy person in your family, you tell yourself, it's going to start with me. And it's not by saying it, it's by showing up. It's by putting in the effort, it's by putting in the work. It's by doing what the people in your patterns have not done before. They've not held on to an update for long. They've not believed in themselves for long. They've not gone all out for this thing. They've not taken that risk. You shouldn't follow that route and start holding on to things. No, you cannot take risks. You cannot do this. You're playing it safe. No. You have to break that pattern, and by breaking that pattern, it means you're going to show up more, you're going to do more, you're going to put in the work, you're going to sleep less. That is how to break patterns. You have to look at yourself and look at your family tree and tell yourself, no, this thing stops here. It's not going to come with me. I'm not going to bring up kids into this world to come and suffer. I'm not going to bring up kids into this world and not have enough to give to them. If your father did not have enough to give to you, you don't have right to bring up kids to continue from that pattern. You have rights. In fact, you are supposed to be determined to change it. You're supposed to tell yourself, no, my father slept 12 hours, my father slept 8 hours. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show up more. I'm going to invest more. I'm going to put my hand here, and I'm going to work like this and work like that. And the most important thing is I'm going to have faith more. Because the reason why your parents are broke, they are stuck, they don't have what they dreamed of, is because they lack faith in themselves. They lack confidence. See, the reason or the proof of faith is when you show up for that thing, when you believe in that thing. See, when you have fear, you will not be able to put your hand in certain things you're supposed to do that are supposed to be life changing. But when you have faith, you know that, okay, when I get this course, when I invest in this course, I'm going to show up like this, I'm going to do like this, and something's actually going to come out of it. But when you don't have faith in yourself, when you don't believe that you can actually break patterns, when opportunity comes that are life-changing, you just say, no, this thing is scam. They want to take away my money. They want to run away with my money. You're following the same pattern, your parents' pattern. See, some of you need to sit down, sit back, go to your parents and ask them. Or you grew up with them, you observe things. You observe that they were scared of certain things. They didn't want to try this. They stayed in that job. They were comfortable in that job. They didn't want to acquire more education. They didn't want to have more knowledge. They didn't want to invest more. Why? They were okay, this job that's been, let me just stay there. It's better I stay there. Let me not lose this job. Those were the patterns. Those were the mentality. Those were the mindset. If you want to change that, you need to work with a different new pattern. You need to map out your life and say, no, if my parents did this, if my parents were scared of this, I'm not going to be scared of it. I'm going to confront it. So many of you need to confront certain things in your life. And you don't do that with words of the mouth. You do that by your actions. You do that by how you show up. You do that by how committed you are in that update. If you want a good life, you must break that pattern. You see that pattern? Break it. Go all out and break it. Stop being lazy. Stop getting scared. Look at your family all the time. Look back and tell yourself, no, I have to do better. If they follow this route, I have to follow that route. Why? I need to break patterns. Stop repeating patterns that is not serving you. You need to brace up, be a man, be a woman, and show up like a winner. Your parents didn't do that, but you have to do that. Show up like someone that's going to win. Show up like someone that's going to do something different. Show up like someone that's going to bring their family name out. Yes, that is what you need to do.